Morning, everybody. Andy here again. Day, I've got to check this. 39. It's getting so long now. I've had to have another haircut. As usual, the figures down below. So the daily deaths yesterday, as I said, because they're including all of them now, the figures are higher. But 739, and the total deaths now is 27,510. We must be very, very close to that Italian figure. The album yesterday was from 1978, AC/DC and Powerage. I've mentioned AC/DC a couple of days ago, and I thought I'd dig one of those albums out. And great band. I mean, I love that particular album. I prefer the Bon Scott years for the sort of people who know anything about AC/DC, and I was lucky enough to see them several times during that period while he was alive. I think he died in 1980, I believe it was. Now it's a long time ago, isn't it? 40 years. The first time I ever saw them actually was in 1976 when they first came over to the UK, and they did a residency. I believe it was on a Monday night at the old Marquee Club in Wardour Street in London, and it was in August. And anybody who was alive in 1976, the summer of 1976 in the UK, will know that it was a very hot summer. I've never had anything like it before, probably, and certainly not since. And, you know, they had that expression about the sweat running down the walls. It was literally running down the walls, but what a gig. Funny, a friend of mine reminded me of it the other day. We were right at the front, a group of mates, and watching Angus and Bon and all the other guys. A great gig, and I saw them a few other times as well. Another thing I will mention, actually, is I was talking about books. I've been reading the Michael Palin Diaries, but this book, look, a guy called Peter May I'd not heard of before, and this book is called Lockdown, as you can see. This book was actually written in about, I think it's 2005, it's a little prologue at the beginning, and at the time, because it's all about a pandemic, about the H5N1, do you remember that bird flu from a few years ago, and the guy researched it and realised what could potentially happen if one of these viruses, bird flu type of things, got out and, you know, started going human to human, etc. In the sort of similar parallels to what we're doing now, although the death rate in that particular pandemic is around about 80%. But everything he wrote in that book is happening now, apart from the death rate. And the book was rejected at the time because the publishers felt that it was unrealistic. And now, strangely enough, he realised what was going on, dug it out of off his computer, and sort of said to his publishers, "Have a look at this," and it's frighteningly, scarily correct in lots of ways. It's set in London, where London is under lockdown. Okay, they've got martial law effectively and armed guards everywhere, but they're building. It's centred around a detective who, where a body is discovered while they're building a temporary hospital where they've been, and also the Prime Minister in this particular book actually dies, unfortunately, in St Thomas's Hospital, exactly where Boris Johnson was in intensive care literally a few weeks ago. And it's not the sort of thing that you necessarily want to read at the moment, but it is scarily accurate in lots of different ways. Thankfully, we're not in that particular situation, but I can certainly recommend. I've never heard of the author before, but had to get it, and it's a page turner, especially in these strange times. Strange times in lots of ways. I think I will mention Hastings Rock is on the air. Yeah, we're on the air now. I'll put the link back down. I'll probably put it in there every single day from now on. We managed to get it all up and running, starting at midnight with an internet. You know, we're all on the internet, but what we call RoboJob, which is an automation system. And the first DJ has just finished his live show, logging in from his own home. So it's great to know that it's all working. lots of cross fingers amongst the committee members and the DJs, etc. But we got there. So yes, white people hour a little bit. But one thing I will mention, because I want to keep this fairly short, because it's a busy day, you know, today. I'm baking bread at the moment, cutting hair, listening to the radio. Oh, God, it's all going on here, you know. And was about the testing, because we had this figure that the government, Matt Hancock, the health secretary, wanted to reach 100,000 tests per day. Well, he's reached it as far as he's concerned. Apparently there were 122,000 tests yesterday counted, but not 122,000 tests carried out. What they've done is they very cleverly, rather stupidly, I think, massaged the figures so that they've included tests that they've sent out and that have been requested, which haven't actually taken place yet because they've been sent by post and they've been requested. Now, I understand it's not easy and you set yourself a target, maybe you set yourself up to fail, but I would much rather that they had admitted, look, we're trying to do this, we got to 80,000 or something, which apparently they have, which is brilliant, well done to them for that, but it just brings that certain amount of distrust into what you think about your government. I'd much rather they had admitted that they had made a slight error. Then everyone would go, yeah, okay, we understand. It's not easy. This is hard times. They're unprecedented times. We understand that you're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But unfortunately, the government at the moment are not owning up to any mistakes that they've made either now or in the past. And then they moan why the press and the media and that get on their backs. That's what the press and the media are there for in lots of ways, is to make these people stand up and be counted and answerable to the people. So I would much rather they'd done that. I mean, actually tell us the truth. You know, we are, you know, we're adults, most of us. We are adults. We can take the truth. We're having to suffer it all the time at the moment. You know, we're doing what we've been told to do. We're sitting at home in lockdown and all this. Everybody's doing that. But we need you to be honest with us as well. So, I'd like to see 122,000 tests. I hope that they get done. But it makes you wonder, if they sent all these out, how many is suddenly going to go back down to 80,000 tomorrow? I suspect the figures will be massaged again. I don't want to have a go at the government particularly because, as I said, I know it's not an easy job and I wouldn't want to be in their position, as I've mentioned several times before. But just level with us. Just be honest with us. And we'll respect you a lot more and we'll be on your side a lot more in the future when you ask us to do something else. Anyway, stay strong, stay safe, stay at home, and hopefully I shall speak to you tomorrow. Goodbye.